Adversity? Bring it. The struggle? We welcome it. Snooze on life? Never that. We are Dave Regina and Mike Pirelli, and this is the No Snooze Podcast. Come on.
Beautiful. I got a mouthful of donuts. Episode 79, No Snooze Podcast. We got the big three in the building. And not just big because I'm crushing donuts here, but we got Michael the Show Pirelli, Claudio the Voice Valenzuela, and Dave the Body Regina. Welcome back, boys.
It's good to be back. First off, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you.
I just want to let everyone know you've walked in off the hinges this morning. You almost broke a ceiling tile with your suit.
Yeah.
I see a Rolex on your arm. We'll talk about that later.
Yep, we will.
You always, whenever I stop at Dunkin' D's before we get into the booth, I ask usually, hey, you need anything? Usually everyone's pretty tamed. Dave this morning said, I'll take a glazed donut.
Glazed donut, baby, right to the face.
And
I almost was offended because you said Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm like, no, I don't drink that. I drink
it's the only thing
Starbucks.
that's close.
But donuts is good. You think this order is shaky, though. Please tell me why.
I would say, and I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, I think glazed donuts are the worst donut on the hierarchy of incredible donuts. There are so many. Boston cream, which a lot of people hate, is definitely above a glazed donut.
I'm a big Krispy Kreme guy.
I hate Krispy Kreme.
Really?
No, I don't hate it. I'm lying.
Put it in a microwave 7 seconds.
Oh, you microwave
It's
it.
literally the best thing in the world. I almost went. I had two other options that I was thinking about. The blueberry glazed, right, which is a great donut.
Okay.
Or the
I don't think I've ever
chocolate
had blueberry
glazed from
glazed.
Dunkin' Donuts.
See,
Right?
even chocolate glazed, because you have the chocolate aspects,
Yep.
you know, I don't know. Glazed donut just never does it for me.
How can you be mad at the OG of donuts, though? That is
Right.
the
That's
original.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Can't-
and
it's like saying, I don't like Snoop Dogg.
But when you think of a
OG.
donut, right? When you think of a donut,
I
is
think
that
of a
the first thing you
45-pound
think of?
plate.
Do you think of glazed donut? I do.
45-pound plate.
Do you think of a glazed donut? What do you think of? Like when I hear donut, I think of a donut with pink frosting with the sprinkles, or like
You watch too much Simpsons.
I
then.
do. I don't actually
You're
don't
definitely
watch
a girl
The
dad, bro.
I think of that's one of my favorites, the strawberry donut.
Okay.
Well, strawberry glaze. I think of Boston cream.
Boston cream is fire.
No, probably not. I don't know. I just think of a lot of other things prior to that. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. I
no.
was a little offended. I didn't get a donut because I'm trying to be somewhat good during the week. Because
I mean, a real friend would have just brought like a 6-pack
Right.
or a 12-pack
And just
now,
pulled up.
Here,
Right.
boys,
Pulled up
choose
with the-
whatever you want.
Pulled up with the donuts.
Fun fact: Greenwich does
Instead,
not
we
have
had to split a donut and eat.
half a donut to eat. Yeah, your own rations. Fun fact: Greenwich does not have like a go-to donut spot. Like every town has like, oh, you got to hit this spot. It's got incredible donuts.
Yep.
For whatever reason, we do not have one. So I've been trying to recruit other businesses outside of town, like Duck Donuts. Have you ever seen Duck Donuts?
Yes. Elite donuts.
They're
They're in a
top
league
of
of
the
their
top.
own.
But anyway, I've been
Toppings
craving
are
donuts
incredible.
lately, and not just the
Yeah.
weights.
So besides the fat talk here, if
Birthday
you are
boy.
listening on drop day, it's already November 1st.
Wow.
New month, new week, new grind. But this is also separation season because a lot of people take their foot off the gas, us included at times. But we got to be mindful moving forward,
I
right?
don't think this year.
So yeah, birthday wrapped up.
That's why I hover over the break the entire year.
Because they can accelerate through.
Yeah, birthday wrapped up. Michael put up a post saying that happy 40th, Dave Regina. People are in the
Did you see
DMs.
that?
My favorite DM thus far was this guy. I'll leave his name off of it. He DMs and says, "Hey, brother, you are in great shape for your age."
You are.
But I am not 40 years old. I am 32. You can tell by, I guess you can get confused by the grays.
So we almost have a battle on the Instagram stories because I know he's going to react to things. And I know he doesn't text me reactions. He does it via.
Yeah.
So that's like the only thing I received.
Yeah.
There was no background. So I didn't know how he reacted to it. I just knew that I thought it was hilarious. And I was laughing
Yeah.
all morning. Dana saw it. She thought it was funny. The best part is that he posted the rebuttal saying he was 32, but you know how people do that anyway?
Yes.
I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
People probably thought you were being funny.
Well, that was
'cause
like
you're a
you
funny
the
guy.
other. That was like you the other day, where you're like, "Happy 25th, Dane," or 20.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's the same type of thing. So people don't know. I'm between 32 and 40 years old.
But you got to keep it close, else it's not believable.
Yeah.
Because I went too high, then it would be no confusion. But I thought that was amazing.
That
That's
was
incredible.
good work, Michael.
If
Good
anything,
work.
it helps you because
Yeah.
it makes you, Maybe the dad bod votes. We
Yep.
might get some more
Okay.
votes. I
All right.
also posted if you want to see more shirtless pics.
Yes. Oh
I
my
just
God.
offered
You
Dave
were
up.
you were killing me. The nose thing
nose.
with Owen Wilson. I was getting toasted, but all in good fun. I enjoy that stuff.
So while we're on the food topic, which
Mhm.
I'm going to ask about your birthday dinner because it looks
Okay.
phenomenal, I want to share a story about my lovely wife, Dana. And I gave her a heads up. When she did this, I said, I cannot wait to tell this story because a lot of the times when I talk about you, I'm the bad guy. But I think this might...
Just before you get started, I am not going to cut this out no matter what you say
yes,
later.
fair.
Uh-oh.
It's not that bad. It's about food, okay?
I don't know. You started off with my lovely wife,
Yeah.
My
right?
lovely wife.
So something is coming here.
So let me pose a question to you guys before we start. Do you get irritated when you're in a deli and you get behind someone, they don't know, like, it's their first time on earth? They're
Yes.
like, what do you have here? It's like, it's a deli. There's bacon, egg, and cheeses. There's
Chicken cutlets.
Exactly.
Right?
You can run through
Yeah.
the tops, right? Or like you go to a Chinese spot and they're like, do you have, whatever it is? It's like every Chinese place has these
Chicken
similar
and
menu.
broccoli with pork fried rice and
See, that's
an
my
egg
guy.
roll. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to preface this. So Dana, I love her to death. Let me preface this. She is one of the types that will get into a deli, stare at the menu for like 20 minutes, be like, I don't know, get to the front and still not know what to order.
So
right?
the opposite of decisive.
Correct.
We're very indecisive.
I
My
go
wife as well.
to a place already knowing what I want to
know what
order
you want.
or top 2, top 3, right?
Yep.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yes, jump in.
So, and I feel you.
Thank you.
All
I
right.
do-
Yep. That's three for three.
Most of the
I'm
time when I
setting
go
her
into
up,
a
yep.
deli, I go with my mind made up.
Thank you.
Well before.
Yep.
We've lived long enough here that you know every deli is the same exact thing. However, I will say this.
New delis.
No, it doesn't even matter because it's always the same.
That's a place.
Dante's Deli is pretty elite.
That is true. That is
That-
true.
our
I got
food-
caught. Thank God the line is so long because you get caught staring.
Yeah.
And
Our
looking at
collective
things.
food AD is incredible. By the
But
way.
I do believe this. If you go to a deli and you get stuck behind somebody who is indecisive and trying to figure out, it allows you, it gives you a moment, and granted, it does depend on how hungry you are in the moment, to look at the menu and maybe stray away from what you normally would get
Yep.
and try something new.
It's a good point.
That has happened to me, and I have been pleasantly surprised. Because usually I get the same thing or a variation of the same
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
So it's always the same stuff.
Yeah, because you already know going in what you want.
Right.
Here's my other question. Do you help that person? No.
No.
Are they just swimming?
I mean, sometimes I do.
Okay. So
Sometimes.
this
I'll
is a
give you-
perfect tee up. I'm
Yep.
happy I got you on my side. This is going to work out well. All right. Let me set the stage. It's Sunday morning. We had a wedding the night before. We're leaving the hotel. We have a 2-hour ride, right? We had a couple bevies, so we're trying to recuperate. I got to work that afternoon, early afternoon. So like I actually feel decent. Hammered Pedialyte, hammered a bunch of waters. I'm elite behind Dave Regina. I'm number 2 at consuming fluids. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm like feeling decent, but I'm like, you know what'll put me over the top? A nice bacon, egg, and cheese on a
Ooh.
biscuit, hash brown.
Biscuit.
Yeah, from
Really?
McDonald's. You ever do that?
Oh, from McDonald's. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
do that.
So I do bacon, but I get 2 of them. So I get two, and then I go 1 orange juice
Wow.
and 1 coffee.
Gotta suck up the
Is that elite?
alcohol.
That's a nice
That's
order,
pretty good.
right? Because the sandwiches are tiny.
No water,
They're
though?
like,
Or you
no-
did water
I have
prior?
water. I had
Okay,
water.
all right.
Okay. So like I'm going in. I'm like, Dane, you want like McDonald's breakfast? And when she's a little hungover, she's a little slow, little like all over the place, little like. She can't get the motor going quick,
Yep.
right? So I'm like, this is gonna be bad. In my head, I'm like, this is gonna be a mess. So we put, but there's not many menu items, right?
Yep.
There's the best of the best. So you just order whatever.
Well, I don't know if you know, but they changed their
This-
menus.
Stevie's coming alive today, and I love it.
He's here.
They changed their menus, or they have changed their menus a bit in the last 5 years or so.
Very true. Very
so,
true.
and even like some items are now in different numbers.
Yep.
So, and I only know because when I go,
Yeah, you bring people there, right?
no,
you just-
I
you don't eat
my,
it, you
my
just
parents.
drive people.
So,
That's good. I didn't
true
get
story.
that
I do like it, but true story. My parents love it, and
Oh,
every
yeah.
now and then
Everyone's
they'll say-
parents love it. I
so
think.
I will go to get it,
I'm
and
loving
they'll
it.
be, oh yeah, number two. Number 2 is not the same number 2 that it was like
Oh,
5 years
gotcha.
ago
Okay.
or so. So I'm like, do you know what you're at? So I don't even tell
That
them.
would be a
because I
forgivable-
know what it is.
That would be a forgivable offense. Okay, that it would make sense.
Right.
This was not. Okay, and before we dive into the specifics, what's your go-to order? Do you have one?
At McDonald's? though?
breakfast, McDonald's breakfast.
McDonald's breakfast? I
Oh,
like.
the steak egg sandwich.
I see. I
What?
never had
On a
that.
bagel?
No, I
Ooh.
do. I do the bacon, egg, and cheese on a McGriddle.
Okay, that's nice.
so that
too.
would be the
That's
go-to
good
for
too.
breakfast. But I got to be honest with you, Michael. I don't even know the last time I had a McDonald's breakfast.
Okay,
But
well,
now
me
I'm
neither.
kinda-
take a
Me
trip
neither.
there.
I don't
Seriously.
even know what the menu
And
looks
then
like.
Next
always,
week, I'll pick up.
always 2 hash browns.
Yes.
Oh, always.
All right.
Always.
Perfect. This is unbelievable lead into it. Okay, so we're going there. GPS it 0.7 away. I'm like, beautiful.
Oh,
right
that's
before we get
right
on the
there.
highway. Nothing's better than, hit revamping with some nice greasy stuff and then hitting a long ride. Nice podcast, maybe no snooze. Okay. Like, subscribe, and comment. So we go to the drive-through, and it's a situation where there's no line. So we're driving right up, right? And I'm like, oh, perfect. I have in the holster. So I usually order first because I'm like, I need to get in front of the chaos to let the person taking our order know I got my shit together.
Right. Okay.
Right? Whoever's behind me.
Also, it gives your partner
Yeah, some time.
time to kind of look at the menu.
Yep.
Correct. See, you guys got it.
Yeah,
It's
we're-
chess.
we're on
We're
there.
playing chess. They're playing checkers.
Yep.
Okay. So hey, can I have and I kind of drag it out. 2 bacon, egg, and cheese on a biscuit, meals. I'll have, and I knew what I was ordering. I'll have an orange juice. What size? You got medium? No.
You
All right,
got
large.
medium? You got a medium?
You got a medium. And then they're like, what else? And I'm like, coffee. And they're like, all right, what do you want? Milk, sugar? And I'm like, yeah, can I have both? Do you have a half and half? I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm warming them up.
Yeah.
Turn over to Dana. And she goes, in her defense, she goes, I'll have a croissant with butter, please.
Okay.
All right, we're at McDonald's, right?
McDonald's.
Croissant with butter.
Okay.
This isn't a French bakery.
Yeah. Okay.
In her defense, favorite meal of all time. When she's hungover, she just wants butter, bread, pasta. I don't know what that was.
Okay.
Okay. Can I have a butter croissant? I'm sorry, we don't have any croissants.
Okay.
Right? On the menu, no croissant.
No croissant.
She looks at me, she's like, okay, I'll have 2 hash browns.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, we're making progress. Then she looks back and she goes, you know what? I'll just have a bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant. I'm so conditioned, I don't even question it. I say it like an asshole to the person. I'm like, all right, and then a bacon, egg, and cheese on a croissant. The person goes, sir, we don't have any croissants. Like she
just
doesn't want to
ordered.
be. Yeah, she was very nice. Thankfully, it wasn't like someone had to. So I look back at her and I'm like visibly like shook because
Yep.
I'm like, I'm the idiot who said it.
Yeah.
So I say to the guy, oh, I'm sorry, it's my wife. Like I literally I throw her under the bus. Then on top of it, I'm like, what do you want? She's like, just bacon, egg, and cheese. And I'm like, Dana, what is it going to be floating?
It's on a platter.
What is it on?
All right. Well,
Like,
it could be on a platter.
I'm getting so mad.
What is
She's
it
like-
on? Floating?
She's like, English muffin, right? Like freaks out, English muffin. So I'm pulling up to the thing. I pay. I'm embarrassed, like so embarrassed. Dana's like in a fog. I get my stuff. We drive to park, and I look at Dana, and I'm like, I don't know what's worse, that order that you just made, or me repeating it like an idiot right after you said it. Like, she starts laughing hysterically. I start laughing. I'm like, Dana, this is so messed up to say. But I think if this was like our first ad hoc date, which there's questions anyway, we would have never made it.
Just gotta
because
run for the
I
hills.
can't deal with that.
Yeah, you gotta
like,
run for
that
the
was, and I'm a little hungover too. So I'm
Yep.
like, I don't want to deal with that either. So it was, I want to hear people's comments. Was I in the wrong? Are you a bad food orderer? And would you break up with someone if that's the case? Like, we got kids,
Yeah, yeah.
I have
we're
a
married,
question.
but
I have 2 follow-up questions.
that is a bad offense.
That is a bad offense.
Yes, I want to hear your questions.
Number 1, is she a person that you can order for and she'll be okay with that?
No.
So she likes what she
She's
likes
picky.
and that's what he wants.
Correct.
Do you,
Have
have you
time out.
A.
One more detail. On top of it, she didn't even eat the bacon, egg, and cheese on an English muffin.
Oh.
So I, like an asshole, ordered it. She never even ate it. Maybe she had a bite. I forget what she said. But anyway,
man.
go ahead. Sorry.
Do you know part B? Do you know kind of what she likes to eat?
Yeah, I know.
So would you be able to order without her having to order and she would be okay eating it?
If it was me, and we talked about it later, I would just order the hash browns for her. She eats like a 5-year-old. So I'm like, hash browns,
Hash
mac and
browns are
cheese.
banging all the time.
No offense.
So
Dana.
my solution, no, I'm not cutting this out. My solution would be you ask her what she wants the day before.
the day before,
The day
or
before,
not
he
for
doesn't even
nothing.
know where he's going.
in between
as
the
a-
20 vodkas,
as
like,
a-
hey, what do you want for tomorrow? For
As a staple, you should always know that
Her
one
go-to.
thing, the go-to. And that way, when
Fair.
instead of panicking, boom, you just act.
Give her some lead time.
efficient, effective,
Okay.
convenient.
And
Yeah,
if
there
she
you
wants
go.
to change it, she can always change it, but at least you'll have your go-to.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this it's happened a lot of times before.
Yeah.
This was just like a culmination where I'm like, I have to share this with the people.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. We always run into that scenario when we're trying to decide what type of food.
Mm.
That's the biggest battle
And
because
when you're
I
ordering out,
genuinely will not care what I'll eat, you know. So then I'll put it on her, trying to allow.
I don't care
Karina
whatever you
to
want.
choose.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you're really going to stress me out like this? No, and it's like a real thing. Like, you're really going to put that on? And I'm like, babe, I really just don't. I don't care. You know, I could go everything from Greek food to Italian to Chinese.
Yeah,
to
you
sushi.
list like
I
everything.
really just don't. And she's like, oh my God, you give me too many options. So I know exactly what you're going through.
And on top of that, everyone's like, I really don't care, really. And then you're like, all right, let's get Chinese. And be like, well, I don't want Chinese.
Now this
and
makes me
like,
think, I wonder what girls' night looks like for them. When they both
they
go
must
out.
know.
We
going
spend
in.
4 hours trying to figure out where do we go?
Yeah,
they just
like,
go
what do you feel
martinis all night, dirty martinis all night. That's why they come
and
back
fries.
banged up. Yeah.
Dirty martinis, fries,
And they eat the olives. That's it.
olives. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good one, man. I guess closing out on the food portion here. My wife took me to a phenomenal steakhouse. We've never been. It's actually up by us, Hudson Valley Steakhouse.
I think we might have been for Billy's birthday.
Probably,
before,
yes. Billy and Alyssa
It
love
was
it.
delicious.
Yeah, they
but
love
I don't know
it.
if that was the right one.
Oh my God, but the level of service was top notch.
Well, they knew you were coming.
I mean, I'm talking as soon as you get to the table, 2 guys come from 2 different angles. They open the napkin. One's pouring the water. His hand is behind his back. You know,
Just like 6 hands.
Yeah, no, seriously, though, I didn't even know what's going on. He's putting my knife there, my fork. Then the bread guy, the third guy comes out. From top to bottom, incredible. Ordered the tomahawk.
I saw the tomahawk.
I mean, it was.
That's on the pitch video you took.
Huge steak, 40 ounce.
See, we're very similar in that aspect.
Oh.
Like, if you're saying, what are you going to get? I'm like, I'm going for the biggest steak they got on the
I
menu.
mean, it was a no brainer.
All show.
But it was just delicious. We got it medium, which, you know, sometimes I asked the guy, I said, is that offensive? Because medium rare in a steakhouse.
It's offensive.
No. Medium rare in a steakhouse is like dead on a plate. I mean, you might as well just give me the cow.
Yeah.
With the legs sticking out of the tom, like that's what it looked like, you know.
true.
So I'm looking at this tomahawk go by, and I'm like, oh.
Does Karina like it well done? Because Dana likes hers like
she
done.
She does. But
I
she
get
was a
embarrassed
trooper.
about that too.
No, I didn't order that.
I get so embarrassed.
She was a trooper.
When she's like, "Hey, can you?"
I said,
you
can eat around the edges. You know, like instead of you buying a burnt steak, just eat around the edges.
Yeah.
So it was perfect. We shared it. She had about 2 ounces, and I had 38.
Yeah.
But but just a great experience. Had a little Macallan to sip with it. So yeah, if you're ever in the Yorktown area, Hudson Valley Steakhouse is a go-to. Yeah,
I might need to try that one.
Yeah,
again if we haven't. But
Yep.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah,
steak, Steak on a birthday is just nothing better.
Nothing better.
Nothing better.
And I eat a lot of steak.
Yeah, that's
I
interesting.
really do. I go steak or salmon every night. I mean,
Every night.
Every night.
That's
it.
wild.
My only 2 options.
Okay.
And I'm talking a New York strip or a porterhouse.
Okay.
Like, we're not talking little baby flank steaks.
Okay.
You know, we're talking big boys.
This is kind of getting to the next topic, but also asking about. I was thinking, and our topic today is about focus. More on that later, and the Rolly. If you haven't liked, subscribe, and comment. I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? When I'm trying to like not spend a ton of money, but also get food to eat well and try to hit my macros, it's really coming down to a price per protein, right? Like, even though this is cheaper, I gotta have 5 of them to get the same amount of protein. So in reality, it's like, yeah, the steak might be expensive, but you just have to eat the one steak. Versus I have to have like 40 cheese sticks,
yes,
which are a 1-to-1 ratio as far as like I say 1-to-1 when it's a gram of protein per 10 calories.
Oh, good,
which isn't right, but
that's hilarious.
But do you think that way? Like, because you're very analytical.
Yeah. When I'm like. Last night I just wanted a steak. I didn't really care.
Oh yeah, it was your birthday.
I didn't care. But yes, when I'm out, I'll definitely try to fill up on the protein side of things, and then I do my dirt. You know,
because I'm trying to like get back to being a normal person eating wise, which has been very difficult, surprisingly. And I've been eating like eggs for breakfast, turkey bacon, turkey sausage, steaks. Like I've been trying to eat real food.
Turkey bacon is atrocious.
Really, I like it.
Oh,
I love it. Actually,
it's offensive.
Is it? It's not healthy.
Offensive. I mean, you're a food guy. If you ever pull up to a spot and try the great turkey item on it, people aren't
balanced though. I eat like weird during the week, so then when I have to shoot episodes or go out, like I really can enjoy myself.
Okay,
it makes everything so much better.
Gotcha.
Like if all you do is eat turkey bacon during the week, and then you go have a regular plate of like real bacon at a diner,
well done bacon,
life blown,
with a nice crunch,
mind blowing, life changing, mind blowing, life blowing. So anyway, price per protein. That was a focus that I've been adjusting, and it's funny because you focus on the wrong stuff sometimes, and then you're like, you know what? It's really the protein to the cost.
Yes,
price per protein.
Yeah. I like that. I never heard that before.
I might have to start a little grid.
Price per
posting
protein.
crap.
Good stuff.
PPP.
That's good. 3 Ps.
3 Ps. Triple P.
Want to go there?
Yeah, I want to go there.
You got questions? Well,
It gives me such anxiety to know of the ballpark price range of that thing. And like, and my dad was ripping on me because my shoes are kind of old. I don't buy anything for myself, but as far as an investment or like spending on something, I will spend crazy just for no reason. Like, if I can justify it's an investment, which it could be.
Correct.
But I have such a hard time.
Yeah, no, I do too for sure. But this was something that we've been discussing back and forth for months. I mean, it's on podcast from 3 months ago. So
subscribers basically paid for it.
Yeah,
because,
you could definitely
the views and all that.
Definitely check that out. But I've been fixated on I need a new timepiece, right? And not just any timepiece, but I want something that would be more of an investment type of watch.
Yeah.
Right. So I was looking at a couple different options. I posted the Hublot because I love that watch. But that was a very pricey watch as well. Not as pricey as the one I got. But then it came down to like the investment side of things.
Retaining value.
Retaining value. Typically, watches are like cars. As soon as you strap it around your wrist, you walk out of the store, it drops in value. A Rolex watch is literally one of the only luxury brand watches that not only retain its value but appreciate in value. So once I started thinking about it that way, and I got over the initial, oh my God, I got to spend the money. The first thing that we've been doing the past couple months is making sure that a purchase like this is not going to hinder any sort of current financial situation.
It'll tie
so I'm
up.
not going to be pulling money from somewhere else just to pay this watch off.
It's a savings account.
Correct. That's now kind of how I looked at it. So once you get over the initial fear of like, oh my God, this is an extreme purchase, which I definitely went through. And I bought in some expensive things in my life, even for my wife. She's got, a Cartier bracelet, which is expensive, but it's timeless.
So let's stop there because you're going to get me in a lot of trouble. Okay?
No, but it's timeless. You know what I mean? Like that's a brand. You put it on your wrist. 25 years goes by and you can literally get exactly the same dollar that you paid for it.
That's wild.
It's crazy to think about.
You can't even do that with a savings account anymore.
I know. So really once I got over that, I'm like, you know what? It's time to pull the plug. Then I started researching, all right, well, what do I want? I'm more of a white gold guy just because of my wedding band is white gold. So I wanted something that I could wear every day if I want, but I'm also looking for a piece that is going to it's a timeless piece in a sense of looking back at history, right? Rolex, the past 100 years, Martin Luther King happened to be rocking this watch.
Oh.
Right? Like
interesting.
Exactly. So this is a watch that, presidents have worn, and
I was gonna say another angle is like when you have it's like a Jeep guy, right? Which I miss that.
I do too.
Once you're in
like
the
this.
club, like someone sees you have that, it's an icebreaker too. Networking tact.
Yep. And I'm a watch guy in itself, and not just off of brand watches. Like I just like watches. I probably have 20. Been. Yeah, I have 20 watches. And the collection is still growing. But
you have any that you don't wear often?
Pawn them off. You
pawn them off. I'll rent it.
You want to rent? The Regina rental.
Yeah,
I like that. But no, man, it's a purchase that I honestly, once I clicked that button. And I found the watch that I wanted.
It's a rush.
First of all, yeah, it was.
Were you like, oh, yeah.
And it kind of bothered me because the way I wanted to pay for it
was like in person, champagne.
No, I found the watch that I wanted.
Okay.
There was only one in the area, meaning Atlanta. But sure enough, I get in contact with them and they're like, dude, as soon as you press that button, we're overnighting that to you. Like
you better be.
Right.
Yeah.
So the level of service was beautiful.
Question.
Go ahead, what's up?
Did you maximize your purchase by getting also points on the back end?
Well, this is my
credit card.
This is what really bothered me. So I have two credit cards that I really use. My JetBlue credit card, which is usually my go-to.
Mm-hmm.
However, my limit was not enough to cover the full purchase of the watch.
That's awesome.
Right? So I knew that I was pulling the money out of my savings account, but I wanted to make the purchase first on my credit card, but I wanted to split the payments.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I can't pay for this in full on one credit card, let me do it on my favorite two to maximize the points like you're talking about. With fraud, with all of this stuff, they're like, you can't split your payments. I'm like, so you're telling me I got two credit cards that literally, you're talking a couple $100 off of the full purchase price of the watch. So I'm like, are you going to give me a discount? Because this is my limit on my credit card.
Yeah.
And we usually don't like to walk around with limits on our, balances on our credit cards. We try to pay it off at the end of every month. By the way, great credit score hack. I mean, you do that for a solid 6 to 8 months, you're jumping an extreme amount of points.
So I don't know if my parents taught me this, but I always thought you had to pay when I was younger.
That's a great thought to have.
So I mean, never like had anything carry over unless I like missed it.
Right.
But I was like, in my head, I was like, you cannot leave it on there. Like you have to, else they're gonna come find you.
Yep.
Well, I think American Express basically works that way.
Does it? Yeah, well, yeah. If you don't, you get whacked. But anyway, go ahead.
We're not talking mob whacked either, so.
Well, you might as well be at that point. I mean,
No Snooze Podcast, Mob Talk, subscribe, baby.
Link, subscribe, comment.
That's
Subscribers are growing.
Plug 3.
We're getting good at plugs.
I see you, baby. So yeah, now I'm frustrated because I'm like, you mean to tell me
it is
that
pretty wild.
I want this watch and I can't obviously do it over the phone because you're going to tell me that I'm not Dave Regina. And I'm like, have you Googled No Snooze Podcast? Like, check it out. Right?
Free promotion.
Yeah.
Hashtag not a sponsor. But
so then he's like, well, you know what you could do? You could go through PayPal. And when you go through PayPal, you can split payments.
sketchy.
So then I go to PayPal, and sure enough, you can't do it unless you have a business account on PayPal. Does Dave Regina have a business account on PayPal? No. So I'm like, what's the downside of this business thing? Then I look at the fine print of the business account. Later on, there's like fees involved. So I'm like, I'm not paying more for this.
Yeah.
And if you can't do this for me, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, because at some point the points don't matter because you're
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So then he's like, well, you know what a lot of people do? They click Affirm, which is like a payment thing you can finance with Affirm.
We have that for our Peloton.
We have it for the Peloton, exactly.
Yeah.
So this, though, is a line of credit through Affirm where I'm like, I'm not running my credit score for a purchase that I already have the money for. Yeah. It'd be one thing if I'm trying to find ways to pay for this, but now I just want my JetBlue points. I'm trying to go back to Puerto Rico. Right? Like that's.
I could just see this guy on the other line. Like, are you buying the fucking watch or not?
And then, of course, there's one in the store, the one that I wanted, and I wanted the white gold. A lot of Rolex watches, too. You can get them in different types of gold, but there's a lot of stainless watches, stainless steel. Now, the steel that Rolex makes is the top-of-the-line steel, the most durable steel in the world.
So stainless steel is the most durable form of...
Correct.
Got it.
Correct. But I wanted the white gold because of the gold aspect to the watch.
And white gold's a little softer, right? So a little more...
Yes.
But it's still durable, but you have to
correct.
maintain
But also, fun fact about Rolex, these watches are really made to be beat up. It's unbelievable, the durability of the watch. And if you really, look into it and you research your stuff, you'll see that that's really what they're made for. The Submariner Diver watch is literally made to be scuba dove in. Is that a word? Scuba dived?
I don't know. I love it.
But you
Keep
can
going.
scuba dive in that thing every day. The Rolex Explorer, it's literally meant to be outside in the frigid, temperatures, banging on trees and watches. You heard that Click CV? I don't know if that did anything.
I like the green one, whatever that one is.
That's
is that
the Hulk. That's the Hulk, the Submariner.
Well, there's
Hulk,
another
yeah.
one, isn't there? There's two greens?
Well, yeah, there's a bunch.
Hulk is the more expensive one.
Kermit, too.
Kermit. That's one.
Yeah, they're fire. But they, listen, when it came down to it, I'm like, yes, it's expensive. But look, had a good year. I've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
It was go time. My wife supported it fully. She even helped contribute to the purchase for the birthday. So it was just it was a good moment. I had literally no regrets. Regrets.
Yeah. No regrets.
No regrets or remorse.
That's a movie.
I know.
Movie
That's
reference. Did you get that?
That's
Is that a movie?
Meet the Millers.
Hey, those are cool tats, man.
Oh, for real. Thank you, bro. You see the Cobra?
Hey, what is this one? What's the one right there?
Oh, this?
Uh-huh.
That's my credo. No regrets.
How about that? You have no regrets?
Dad?
Nope.
Not one?
Nope. I wish I did to talk about something.
Not one regret, huh?
That's how I've been living my whole life. I went to a tattoo artist. I was like, this is how I live. Can you put that on my body? And he did.
Dad.
Like not even a single letter?
Nah, I can't think of one.
I'm a unbelievable. It's so unfortunate that you don't know movies because I am an unbelievable movie referencer.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Go ahead. Sorry.
So then, long story short, I had to. This is the worst part. And you're going to be like, no.
Send him some hoodies.
No. I didn't even end up getting my points. You know who got my points?
Karina.
My mother-in-law.
Oh, nice. Even better.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
That's fine.
Yep.
The amount she babysits,
Well,
dude.
correct. So
Come on.
literally, I'm like, hey, you mind like making a purchase real quick?
Which is
Yeah,
hilarious.
exactly.
Like, the size of it.
Yes, exactly. So she's like,
Did you try calling the card to see if they give you an increase? Or?
what? So again, I
I
didn't
would
want to
have
run
took
my
your points.
I didn't
Just
want.
call me.
I didn't want to run my credit. Like
I don't think the credit.
it is. It is.
does.
Yeah.
It's a hard.
And look, the limit on my credit card is fine for what I live with, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's over $10,000, but it's less than the amount of the watch. So and I have two of them, but I couldn't I couldn't take a couple hundred. It was very frustrating, right? So sure enough, my mother-in-law ends up having a business account on PayPal that's already established.
She's a G.
Exactly. She must have been through this before. This
Anybody
is not
have any
her first,
issues? Call his mother-in-law.
This is not her
Look it
first
up.
rodeo. But pretty funny though. I'm like, oh God, like, do you think you can make a purchase? She's like, yeah, no problem.
How
Like,
much?
Right. So then we get
Just
to,
a little.
she's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What? I'm like, look, I'll get you the money, but do you mind just doing this? So she's like, but I can keep the points? And I'm like, yeah, you can keep the points. So she ended up getting thousands of points. So hopefully she'll enjoy her flight to Puerto Rico. But yeah, man, that's the story of the purchase.
Dave Regina, good at getting points even after high school basketball.
Ooh,
Let's go.
That's fire.
Okay. I first off, love the look. I would be concerned personally because I don't take care of things well.
Yep.
I'm like a bull in a china shop with suits,
Yep.
shoes. It's one of my downfalls is that I'm just the loose cannon
Yeah.
with stuff.
I don't know. I mean,
But you're very meticulous. You're very organized. I'm sure you put that in the same spot every night. It's nice.
I mean,
it
I
makes
had
sense.
for a night, so I put it.
Point
in the same
being,
spot
though,
last night.
I slept with it.
Yeah, I did actually. I woke up. I'm like, babe, I'm getting dressed. I put the watch on. I'm like, all right, ready to go.
So I think we're in this weird time in the world where people are going to be doing things like this more often because even if you put in a savings account, you're losing money. Right
Yep.
now, you're not gaining anything.
Right.
So there's really no like downside other than potentially like losing it or whatever. You can get insured, I'm sure.
Yep.
But I like the fact that you're getting a utility value, you're enjoying it while it's also technically an investment.
Yes.
Those are the best. And you could do that with cars. You can do it with everything.
Absolutely. But that was the difference
Credit
for
to
me.
you.
Yes, the purchase price of the other watch would have been
Less.
cheaper, but it would still would have been thousands of dollars of a purchase.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, I'm like, I love.
Do they not retain value? They're not as
exactly.
Got
They
it,
don't
got it.
appreciate as much. You can sell it. Say you buy a Hublot for $5,000, you can resell it for like $3,000.
Yeah.
But like it didn't really do anything for you.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas the used certified pre-owned Rolexes, that's where the market is.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. And I was able to snag one for a great deal, box, papers, brand new.
Yep.
Which doesn't it's a very tough market right now.
Congratulations. You deserve it. You've been
Thank
thinking
you,
about it a
brother.
long time. It's got to feel nice. Do you feel like you have a little extra pep in your step today?
Well, also with the pairing of the suit. So it's funny. I love to wear this suit when I have big business meetings.
Yes.
So the community that I work in, the town, we have been searching for a supermarket to come into the town where I'm at
wow.
in this one shopping center that's been vacant. They wanted to pull me in. It's funny you talk about
Wait,
the real
why are
estate
you
side of
searching
things.
for it, though?
They pulled me in.
Didn't I call this like
So they
a
pulled
year
me
ago?
into, but it's more to represent the community side of things.
Sure, Dave, sure.
So
okay.
we have a nice committee within the town, but we have a meeting with BJ's. We have a meeting with Costco. We have a meeting with Sam's. The big hitters.
Let me get this straight. I'm taking classes. I'm doing all this stuff, working. And Dave's going to be the commercial agent at the end of the day.
Well, no, I'm not. I mean, I'm not closing.
No,
the
that's
deal.
awesome.
I'm not closing the deal, but I need to go speak on behalf of the community's needs.
That's awesome.
So then, when the deal does close, and we're very close to a deal with one of those three that I just mentioned,
Say it again. Say the three.
the big three.
Yeah,
I
with
can't repeat. You got to go
BJ's,
back. Yeah, there you go. So
Trader
this hasn't
Joe's?
happened
Did you
yet.
say Trader
no,
Joe's?
not Trader Joe's. We have one.
BJ's Stop and Shop.
No, BJ's,
I didn't
Sam's, Costco.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
That's such a cool experience to be involved in because some
Yeah.
people, I may never get to sit in on one of those meetings.
Yep.
And the fact that you're exposed to that is wild.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, even just with the walkthroughs, right? And then dealing with these companies and organizations.
How cool is real estate?
Oh, it is great.
It's
and
wild.
Even but the build out, you're talking
Yeah.
for all these guys 9 to 12 months. So once we close the deal, it's 9 to 12 months will be the actual supermarket coming in.
Yeah. And think about it. They'll probably sign like a 20-year lease.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
it's a
and
huge
it's
lease.
guaranteed because it's a big. So, like for investors,
Yeah.
if you own that property, that thing is what they call a triple net.
Right.
You don't have to do anything
Yes, and
other
then
than make sure that it doesn't burn down.
The town
They
also,
take care of everything.
our perspective, what we love about it is the tax dollars that'll be coming in, paired with, we want this to be a location to where the community can actually work in.
It's an anchor tenant.
Correct.
Yeah.
so
Pulls in
it's-
other
it's-
businesses.
and it's giving back to the community, right? We're taking people in the community. They're working there. They're managing the store. They're cashiers. They're stocking the shelves. They're learning the business side of things. So it plays very well into what you believe a community to, I guess, how a community is supposed to operate.
One day you're just going to have like a snail mail that says like you've been elected as Greenwich first selectman and appointed or like submitted Mike Pirelli offered you. Come on over.
No,
that's
man,
awesome. Good for you.
So paired with the watch, I'm feeling good.
Oh, that meeting's today.
It is today.
Okay. Wow.
And again, it's not the first one, but this is
Are you
probably
gonna be talking like this with your left hand.
Probably the one.
So you know what we really need in this community?
You know what's funny about the political game, though, man, and I hate this, and I got to be careful with how I say this, but like I've seen individuals that run for like top positions. And they have a nice watch on, and that gets thrown in their face as they did something, I guess, against their ethics, right? What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, no matter what you do, people are always going to say, well, you could have spent that money on getting food for the neighborhood. There's always, but you can't win either way, though.
Correct.
Because if you're not polished enough, then you'd be like, look at this slob trying to lead her. So you can't
exactly.
win.
So it's a tough thing. It's tough. And my wife and I had that conversation because, the trajectory of my career is going that way. I don't know if it's going to be state.
Regina 2024. Let's go.
But is it local? Is it state? Is it federal? I don't know. But I enjoy what I do. So I don't want to, but I also don't want to change the individual that I am. If I like a name brand thing. I saved my money with my family and I made a purchase. Like what is that to be thrown in somebody's face for? So I've seen that. I really don't want to experience that, even though I know that is going to come down the line, not just for the watch, but just in general. That's just how life is. But something that definitely like irks me about, my side of careers.
Yeah, it runs kind of with anything, right? Because like something that we say in our business is like if you have too nice of a car,
right,
people think you're ripping them off, right?
Gotcha.
But I don't have a very nice car at the moment because it's something that we bought outright.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to kind of run it into the ground before the next one. So then you get from people, it's like, what is that car? Like, why don't you have
your
like
car is nice.
It's fine, but when you're pulling up next to Range Rovers, Teslas, like in relation, people are like, you're at this $4 million property. What are you driving this for? Which is fine because I have.
That's when you tell them it's a company car.
Yeah. Well, their company cars are like G-Wagons.
They're crazy, right?
But my point is like, I've always considered myself having thick skin, but I've had to have.
I think you have thick skin as
well.
Thick
everything. But this year has made it even more so because like the amount of just nonsense that gets spewed at me through a day of just random thoughts of people is like wild. Because it's just so like I put on a property. And I broke a record. Not that the record means anything, but just something to think about. It's like a new challenge. We had 60 showings in 2 days.
Wow.
Okay?
Off that house that you were talking about in the last episode?
60 showings. Like I could barely respond to everyone's voicemails. I was calling people back at like 9 at night. Had to ask the in-laws. Shout out in-laws. They took the baby. So then I could just like come home, keep working. Point being though, that is such a like if you talk to 60 people in 2 days, it's kind of like if you're training for like the UFC and they send someone fresh in every like round.
Yeah.
And by that last one, I'm still getting beat up by clients asking questions. And that fatigue is like so much
that's a good visual.
But you just got to keep like everyone's question is so different.
And it's their first experience.
And
you want to make it a good
50th.
one. Right.
So I'm getting better every showing.
Yep.
But then at the end, I'm kind of fatigued. So they're still hitting me with punches. And I'm like, no, this is that. But it's a very mentally, if you're not stubborn, and actually like believe in what you're doing, you're going to get eaten alive.
Talk to me about the conversion rate to offers. 60. So you got 60 showings. How's the market? Like, obviously the market's crazy. Out of the 60 offers, out of the 60 showings, how many offers came through?
So we're currently negotiating some stuff right now. So I can't be specific. This will probably come out after
the
but
deal, right?
Traditionally, if there's certain nuances to this deal.
Is it like 10%?
Traditionally, you'd probably get like 6, 7, it's something like that.
6 or 7 offers.
This is a multifamily with some hair on it as far as like leases in place and some stuff. But like a single family home, if you have 60 showings, you're probably getting like 10 offers.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But
not always, right? You could do that and get none.
Yes.
So, but it's just
insane.
it's when I don't know, like someone said it, but basically like the more people you see in a day, the more energy gets pulled from you. So it's a different type of fatigue that like I was in a flow previously, and then there was a little break in the action. Now I'm back in it.
Yep.
And it's like ring rust. Like at the end of the day, I was like, "Holy hell, that was a long day."
Well, that's a lot of people to be dealing with.
Yeah, but it's the amount of people that just the comments. It's like one guy was so condescending, but I had to just kind of laugh and be like, "Yeah, Yeah, terribly priced. Like, yeah, you know what you're talking
and
about.
now with these showings, is it a market to where you better come with your pre-approval letter? Like everybody is qualified to buy the house?
Most people are qualified. You have to be organized. It's still competitive, but it's funny because some agents are saying that they think the market's softening. I personally think we're going to have another busy year. There's no inventory. The more money that's printed, more people are going to try to hide their assets, or excuse me, their cash and assets.
Trading watches for houses.
Houses. But I'd like to incorporate one real estate tip an episode.
Yep.
This is my advice for multifamily owners. Some situations you cannot do this, but when it's possible, make sure that one of your tenants is on a month-to-month or one of the units is vacant. Because the name of the game is to expose your property to the most eyes as possible. And even if a certain segment of the market, for example, single-family home buyers are going to pay less, if they're involved in the transaction, then it creates upward pressure for other offers, right? So by having leases in place, it's a lot more tricky for someone to get a loan to occupy one of the units. So we're at a price range where if one was empty, we would have sold it like 4 times over and had way more offers.
Because that's live-in, rent
because
out.
Someone can get an owner-occupant loan.
Correct.
Which is a lot less down.
Which is what I did.
Exactly. So it's just like a little tip that a lot of people don't think of. So if you have a tenant, you keep them month to month or you don't renew it, it gives the agent a lot more flexibility to then sell it to an owner-occupant and or an investor.
Very nice tip. Yeah.
That's a small tip.
Yeah. But now, technically, if you go and you purchase that multifamily, I mean, it's not the best for your reputation. Well, I don't know why I'm saying repetition, but your reputation, if you do purchase that house and you technically can kick somebody out and move in.
Well,
but it's not a good look. I mean,
as far as kick out, it's more of like the eviction process gets a lot more complicated.
Correct.
You can always incentivize a tenant to vacate with some type of cash offer. They call it keys for cash.
Yep.
Keys for cash. Yeah. So like for what are the properties called? Bank owned. I dealt with one, and the person was a veteran, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna give him keys for cash," and they offered him like $15,000. So if like someone's not paying or they're paying a little, like that's a lot of money, significant money. But for the buyer or the whatever agent, that might be the difference of them being able to actually secure the property and then making because they can backfill that, and they'll recoup that in a year. So it's interesting.
We're also going through that too with my mom's, where my mom lives, right? I don't know if you remember, a couple months ago, we almost bought that house. We got beat out. Very nice gentleman, by the way, met him. Young guy from the city. He just communicates very well. Yeah. And he's like, look, this thing was really under rented. Yeah. I'm looking to move in to then make some advancements myself, and enhancements to the actual house. I'll give you X amount of months
to find property.
Yeah, to find a place. But I hope you understand my financials. I can get this. You're paying this, which is significantly lower, and I got to respect that. Yeah. So I think if you communicate well and you're able to do that, you
it's
might not have
much easier to work with someone and be like honest versus just try to like evict them or kick them out.
Correct.
Because if someone really wants to make it difficult, they can.
Yes. Well, especially in the state of Connecticut, I have found out that
Connecticut's not. It's pro-tenant.
It's very pro-tenant.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Last comment is the what was I gonna say? The investments. I forgot. It was something good though.
Well, if you remember, just jump right in. But while we wait,
I don't remember.
We are going No Snooze recommendations this week. One of our favorite companies of all time. We're talking Backwards Hat. We're talking Tactical Baby Gear. We're talking Beef Brody and Jade and the entire team down in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Tremendous group.
Right? One of the best. Sent us a nice, beautiful package right here. We have, you're going to like this name, the Sleepwalker TBG Roasted Coffee.
It's pretty good.
Handcrafted, small batch from South America.
Ooh.
Right? So, I'm like, Beef, thank you for the package. Jade, thanks for the package. I got to try this out before I, recommend it.
Yes.
Right? So, I drink it, and I drink it black because I'm like, well, I really want to get a good feel on really what the coffee is all about. So I will say the flavor is phenomenal. It's a very strong taste, but it is a little lighter than my typical Starbucks French or Pike Place. but a very, very good coffee. Highly recommend it. This pouch here is 18 single-serve coffee pods for the Keurig, and it's priced at $24.95. But when you break that down, that's like $1.35 a pod.
Yeah, so if you're having a pod at home,
Yeah, I mean,
money,
you're definitely saving money, and even better, you're supporting a great company. But the name is incredible, Sleepwalker. Look at the dude on the
perfect.
on the
Their
box.
branding is A1.
It really is.
A1.
It really is. So this box is actually for Mike and CV to try out, so you guys can try it yourselves. You can purchase this. All the info will be up on the screen here, but it's tacticalbabygear.com. Again, $24.95. It comes to like $1.35 a pod. So go check it out. But great coffee, man.
I'm very excited to try it. I was saying the coffee game, like I love it so much, but it doesn't love me at the moment.
CV, what do you think? Can we steal this? If we just brand it with a nice
Just throw a sticker on top.
No Snooze logo. Yeah, just throw the sticker right on it.
TBG.
Yeah, I mean, No Snooze coffee might have to become a thing. But shout out Beef Brody and that team, man. They we're in constant contact with them, but they are so innovative as a crew.
I got to get more gear. I love their stuff. They sent the Rad Dads over, and I've been rocking it. I'm just not as confident as I'd like to be in the outfit.
But they're always, it's a very successful company. But what I like about them, and now that they're in our network, is that they just continually try stuff.
Yeah.
Like Beef said on the podcast, he's like, look, we just try stuff. I go with the ideas. We collaborate as a team. And then if it flops, it flops.
Yeah.
But great coffee. Shout out, you guys.
Have you been seeing Travis on his brother? And the racing stuff.
You remember Travie?
Yeah, do you follow him?
Travie.
Yeah,
Travie.
we're calling him Travie.
Yeah.
I've actually been following Beeve and he's been putting together that pickup truck that he had.
Yeah.
He went on a camping trip.
The Land Cruiser.
Cool. Yeah, the Land
Yeah.
Cruiser.
Beef does great content.
Yes,
So
but
they all do.
Travie is also training too.
Yeah,
Did you
for
see that?
race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he's actually training and he's getting physically in shape.
That thing is sick.
He's what
The virtual.
Oh
whatever.
no, I'm talking about training. Like he's running.
Yeah, he's running. I know
Yeah.
that, but I'm saying the thing that he.
You would
does.
like that because you get to sit there and just drive.
That's where everything's going, man. People are just gonna be driving.
Sit there
around.
and drives.
Those
Good.
guys have to be pretty physically fit, though. The drivers.
Oh yeah. They got
if
strong
you look
necks.
at them, they're very remember?
Remember? Do you remember? You remember the contraption that we saw?
Yeah.
That was wild.
I wouldn't last in a race car. Very
Yeah,
long.
no,
I'd be
absolutely.
like, broken neck.
Floppy neck. Anyway, did you see? This is random, but we spoke about. You said Tesla before. Did you see Tesla?
Pumping.
Oh my gosh! Shout out Angelo LaRoche.
Oh, he's so funny.
Oh.
I have to say, if you dislike him, which I don't, I love him. It would annoy the shit out of you because he's just posting basically how much money he's making daily.
Right.
But I enjoy the updates.
Yes. The one thing I wish he did more is while the stock was pretty steady, I wish he put out more content. Because I know he's a.
Is he putting out more content? Because
I know
his
that-
stuff is super relevant even now.
Right. But I know he's a firm believer in the company. I wish before that massive pop, he put out more content just assuring where his thoughts were. Right, I like those types of things, and he's doing a great job, and he's making a ton of money. He even got a bunch of us involved in Tesla just off of his content that he's putting out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's over $1,000 a share right now.
Yeah, and we're no financial advice, but we'll comment on finances. I would love to see him put out more stuff because he was right on. And I would assume, and Angelo, tell us if we're incorrect, it's more of a long-term play. So although it's doing great, your
Correct.
game plan is to hold on for a long time.
Right.
So for him, probably when it took that dip, he didn't really care because he's eventually it'll go up.
There was a go.
So I was leading
yeah.
into my next point.
Gotcha.
So we talked about Bitcoin a while ago, and this whole episode's about focus. Something
And
I've
food.
been trying to do is delete the price on my phone because
Okay.
I find myself checking it,
Okay.
but it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because my thesis is that I'm going to hold on for a long time, and then once it's stabilized, borrow against it.
Yep.
That's the
Okay.
game plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in reality, it doesn't matter. I have to keep buying it at every price,
Yep.
whether it's 50,000, 100,000, 20,000. If I still think and believe in that thesis,
Yes.
which I do, and I can't let the daily price influence, right? So
Yep.
if you have a commission and I have a certain percentage I allocate towards that asset,
Yep.
by just looking at the price, sometimes you're influenced oh, it's expensive today.
Yeah.
Shouldn't
Yeah.
buy.
Oh yeah.
Versus just buying, because some would say you bought at 60 and it drops to 30, you're going to be like, I'm an idiot, right?
No,
or
you buy more.
potentially you buy at 60 and it goes to 100, then you're like, I'm a genius.
Correct.
But it doesn't matter either way
Right.
because long term, it's
Yep.
you can't use it for the future. So it's like whatever, just throw it.
It's
hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely hard. Peloton, right?
Are you still buying Peloton?
Well, so it slowed down dramatically, and then it started to drop, kind of crazy. Where I'm like,
I mean, it makes sense. People are going back to work, gyms.
Right? But also for me, like with Tesla, right? I can't bet against technology. Like if I believe in technology, I'm investing in it, right? Just because it's a proven formula that if you believe in the company and you believe that they can still innovate with the times, that's a company to invest in my opinion.
You're basically betting on Elon Musk, which is a pretty good bet.
Tesla, but I'm talking Peloton now.
Oh.
Right? So
he doesn't work for Peloton yet?
I see Peloton drop. I'm like, okay, let me buy a little more. Okay, all right.
That's called catching a falling knife.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that term?
No, but yeah, that makes sense.
It's very descriptive.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So I'm watching my, big dollar go, and I'm like, those thoughts come in. I'm like, no, stick to the plan, man. Stay the course.
So tough, though.
But I happen to buy extremely early. So I mean, now the share is sub $100 where it was like 160, right? But I'm just a firm believer that now it is on the up. New technology is coming out with them. They actually just partnered with a major healthcare company, which was big.
I think as long as they have Cody on their team, they'll be fine.
You remind me a lot of Cody.
I feel like in a different reality, I might have been Cody.
You and Cody Rigsby. I mean, you guys.
He cracks me up, that guy.
But it's humbling, very humbling.
My investing philosophy for me, what fits for me personally, is I don't like companies. I know you can do very well in them. I just don't like it. I like control of everything. I have a control problem, which I didn't realize till I was older. So like everything I'm purchasing is an asset that I control because I just don't trust. It's terrible to say. I don't trust any CEO of any company. I'd rather if I go to zero, it's my fault.
Right.
Yep.
No, I like the way you said that.
So like I'm more I'm asset heavy, which a lot. It's a lot. There's no wrong answer for me. I'm just asset heavy, real estate. Bitcoin, whatever it is.
Yep.
We wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know that we partnered with our good friends over at Orgain.com. We're happy to offer our listeners 30% off by entering the code NoSnooze30. Again, that's NoSnooze30 for 30% off your first order. If you're on the market for a new protein powder, nutritional shake, protein bar, or Mike's favorite, collagen peptides, Orgain is your one-stop shop. As all of you know, my Crohn's disease is currently in remission, and the only protein I use is from Orgain. My personal favorites are the chocolate peanut butter and the vanilla bean. With the code, you can try a 2-pound tub for under $20. Talk about not snoozing. Go get yours today. Now, back to the epi.
The idea of focus, right? When we were saying that we want to talk about the topic, focus is something that is, it's mandatory, right? Focus is mandatory if you're trying to get to the next level or really any level of any sort of progress. When you said the word focus, what came into my mind was looking at the time of the year that we're in now and saying to myself, okay, well, how do I remain focused and not just fall off the bandwagon, but still being able to enjoy time with my family when I take off? But then in business, not allowing things to just collapse and wait until the new year, right? I know you had some different thoughts on focus, which tied in really well. And what was the first thing that came to mind when you said focus?
So focus, first off, I struggle with it. Like it's very difficult for me because I have so many things going. I know you do too, but I just always struggled with being able to focus. Like even when I was younger, I always jump around. Say what it is. Whatever it is, I don't know if I have a medical thing, but ADHD? I know for a fact, who knows? If there is anyone that might have it, I probably have it.
That might have it. Might have it.
But I don't try to give it power because I think it's actually a benefit in a lot of senses because I can jump. But when I think of the word focus, I think more of like, I need to start focusing on new things as the business grows, as my life changes. So like recently I've been thinking a lot, like I shouldn't be focusing on setting all these appointments. I should be focusing on selling this property and marketing it, right?
What does that look like?
It happened. What do you mean?
Like when you think of that, and I hear it, it makes sense. But what does that physically mean? Like
like an action? So like
no, like you're not focusing on booking the appointments. You're focusing on selling the property.
It's we talked about it, I don't know what episode, but return on time, right? So like where is my highest value in my own business? So I ask myself that constantly. Like is me posting a picture of my listing that takes whatever, even if it takes 50 minutes, the best return of my time? No. The best return of my time is me getting a client into the property and talking through there. Best use of my time is calling a client about the property, outward reach,
Yep.
all that stuff. And then the second question is like, can I replace myself in that actions to free up more time so I can do more things that are better return on time.
Gotcha.
Right? So a lot of things I can get by when I'm not as busy. But the benefit of the recent market is that I'm getting stress test more than I have in the past, and my holes and my inefficiencies get exploited fast. Right? Like I could get by with 10 appointments because I'm like, oh, I wasn't on the phone all day trying to get appointments set up. I did that and then I marketed versus like, damn, I had to be on the phone all day and I did the majority of just coordinating showings.
Gotcha.
Right? So then the whole word focus is constantly like, I need to keep my eye on the target, and if it's not working, then I need to focus on getting someone to replace me in a thing that I could teach someone and isn't a deal breaker, right? Like yes, it's easier if I control my whole schedule, but I'd rather deal with like, oh, I got to reschedule someone because they screwed up because I have to pick up the baby versus try to do it perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
But it's hard to do while you're in the thick of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I make a note of it. I'm like, I got to address this soon, but I can't do it right now. I'll get to it.
Yep.
And then the other thing is just like focusing on the right stuff. So rather than focus on, all right, this deal's gonna be super difficult, focus on like, all right, well, this deal's difficult, but if I want to sell things like this in the future, I need to learn what Section 8 tenants, the rules and regs are on. I can't focus that it's more difficult because they're in there. I have to focus on how can I learn about it so that in the future it's going to be something I know inside and out.
Phenomenal point.
But you know how you get caught in the weeds and
Yeah.
you're like, shit, I'm focusing on the wrong thing here.
Yep.
And I'm talking to people about the wrong stuff when I should be talking about this thing.
Well, that's a big realization in itself, is just being able to realize that.
Well, yeah, the self-reflection stuff, sometimes you just overthink things. But it is, again, it's easier when there's so much input. When you're getting, when there's like everything is getting maxed out constantly, you're able to try to adjust fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
But basically my whole thing now going into the new year is trying to focus on replacing myself in the social media realm, doing things that I could do, but someone can do better, or not better, just do and get done. And it's like, it's not going to make a huge difference on I need to focus on growing the business, not so much doing the day-to-day.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, hell yeah. For me, going into the end of the year, right, I had to find a motivation to keep going. Because in my industry, we got a lot of time off, right? I mean, we get holiday time, we get vacation time. Like, it's very easy to take your foot off the gas, go away for 3 weeks, and kind of just call it a day. Is that bad to do? No, I think there's a time and a place. But the motivation for me was sitting down with, my leadership and looking at the past 2 years, right? We did some phenomenal work during the pandemic, continued to do phenomenal work, but we switched our services to essential services, meaning that we were focusing more on free meal deliveries for seniors, feeding people in need, community drives, that type of stuff, right? Then the storm came, and now we don't have a facility that's operating. But the reality is, the past 2 years, we have not been able to hit our revenue goal. That's motivating for me, because at the end of the day, it was uncontrollable, but that's not acceptable for year 3, right? So what can I do now to make sure that we're building for the future in the year to come? So something that I switched, which was really something that I just developed. I always have, so I develop a list, and this is throughout the year, of my, call them community contacts if you want. You're talking local school districts, you're talking clergy like churches, local organizations, small businesses in the town, just to where I develop relationships to where we can partner back and forth on community initiatives. Every January and February, I send an email blast out, just saying, hey, love to connect with you guys. This is what I'm thinking about. Let's do a toy donation for kids on this date, right? Instead of doing that and focusing my energy there, I said, well, you know what? To close out the year, I should still reach out to them. But let me say happy holidays to them. Give them each 2 dates to where in the new year, we're going to sit down and meet. As soon as they confirm, secretary sends out an invite right away. And that's something that we just started. And we're going to do that to close out the year. So we're getting momentum to make sure that we stay focused for the task at hand, because next year we have to hit the revenue goal.
Yeah.
I
like that.
Yeah. Well, it's something that, like,
do you find yourself, sorry to interrupt,
do you
find yourself where people kind of feed into the expected slow time, where people are like, oh, like, what are you doing for the holiday? And then it just naturally, people let their foot off the gas, but you're like, oh, I don't want to, but you're walk into my office and talking to me for 10 minutes about your holiday plans.
Right.
Like where I'm just trying to survive 2 days and get a bunch done.
Just to string
Don't you
2 good
feel
days
like that?
together. Yeah.
And then people, it's what's the word? It's when you're self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when people are, how's the market? Well, the holidays it dies down, and
Yep.
then it like doesn't. But you're like, but it dies down because
Yeah.
you want it to.
I think it's going to happen anyway. I know like the majority of the staff, the team in place is going to take time off and they're going to enjoy time with their families. But it's a balance, right? Because now at the end of the day, when we need something done and I paint the picture of like, look, the focus was essential services for the past 2 years. We've been able to sustain our employment to make sure
Which
that
is a
everybody
huge-
kept their job.
That's a
When there
huge
was
goal.
$4 to $6 million of a budget cut, of a deficit now that we have to, I'm sorry, not a budget cut, a deficit that we have to refill. So if we continue to operate like this, somebody's going to lose their job. It could be me. It could be you, right? So we've been
Whoa.
painting.
I'm going to get fired.
But we've been painting that picture the entire time. Not that we don't want our team to go enjoy themselves on the holidays, but I think there's a balance, right? When you're able to work around the holidays and you're in the office for that time frame, get the job done to make sure that you can enjoy it. A focus of mine also is making sure that during this holiday season, and this is going to go right against what I just said, that I'm enjoying myself. I'm eating what I want to eat. I'm having a great time and making memories with my wife, my daughter, and my family.
Mhm.
But now how do I focus on doing that and building the business?
Balance.
Right? But you have to. So yes, I'm going to take time off. Yes, I'm going to enjoy myself on the holidays. Yes, I'm going to have some nice beverages, right? But you work hard all year. Why would you want to take your foot completely off the gas? Now it's November. You're literally less than 8 weeks away from the end of the year. It's very simple to be like everybody else and take your foot off the gas. But no, Ed Milet, something that I love about him, he's been preaching about separation season.
Nice.
Because when everybody else is home, right, instead of doing that, I'm going to be in the gym. I'm working out. I'm getting my body right, knowing that I'm going to come and eat a glazed donut. But at least you're not,
You're sustaining it.
you're sustaining and you're
Yeah.
maintaining your momentum,
Yeah.
right? Whereas I know a lot of people are going to gain that holiday weight, which is fine. Then in business, the same principles apply,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
The what's the other thing I was thinking about? Oh, so I listened to someone, this guy, he retired at like 31, right?
Mhm.
And I always think about like, why do I think this way? And why did I think this way in the past? And one of the things I always thought about was like retiring early, right?
Mhm.
It's like a buzzword. There's
But retiring meaning what?
I'm gonna explain. So FIRE is like this term that I've dove into when I started getting into real estate. It's called financial independence, which is a buzzword that people throw around all the time. That I'm like, that is not the financial independence. Like making money is.
I
not,
hear financial freedom more than I hear.
Yeah, that
financial
too.
independence. But same thing is that
certain words.
Is that
I'm
what that
like,
is?
Similar. So FIRE, financial independence, retire early, right? Because a lot of people want to get out of a job they hate, right? Right.
Wait, what?
No.
Sorry, I mean it just
What?
came out.
People want to get what?
So
People want to
FIRE
get out of a job they hate.
Oh,
So I
people
think-
want to get out
so
of
I-
a job.
I-
Typically.
can I add a couple of things? I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
as you guys
Yeah,
were
yeah.
talking. I think at least personally, when I think about what you were talking about, the taking the foot off the pedal, I think people take the foot off the pedal because in reality they're not truly happy with what they're doing. No different with the person that retired early. What does retiring at 30 mean?
Yep.
You're not really retiring because if you love what you do, you're gonna always want to be doing
Well,
that,
that's
no
my
matter
point.
what it is.
Yeah.
If you love working out, you're never gonna take your foot off the gas because you love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Whereas some people do it because they have to do it. Whereas taking the foot off the gas almost feels like, oh, I need a rest, I need a break,
Yep.
whatever.
And it's
it
good
is.
to take a rest.
Mhm.
But yeah, so to my point is like a lot of people want to escape a job that they hate.
Yep.
So when these people retire, a lot of the time they start something they enjoy and they end up working just as hard, if not harder, on that thing, right? So I'm like, why does everyone focus on retiring so much? Like it's all about retiring. It's all about retiring. And I think it's a disservice to a lot of people because I think you should focus on it. Because if ultimately you're going to be in a job and then you're going to end up and you want to get out of it and not work forever and want a nest egg, that's great. But maybe the focus is more important to figure out what you enjoy doing and trying to figure out so that you don't necessarily want to retire.
Mhm.
You want to keep doing it. Maybe you don't have to do it, but you still want to participate in some form of that thing. And I just think it's super interesting how like the narrative is always pushed and you hear these words all the time and it's like, oh, a lot of stuff comes down to money, right? So a lot of stuff was created so that people give money to someone else so that they can use that in the meantime. So by, putting money in 401ks or whatever, they're a great vehicle. But the reality is you gave it to a financial firm so they can make the money for 6 to 5 years, So there's like a mental shift of focus of like, rather than focus on delayed gratification, which you need in your life, you got to figure out how to enjoy it on the way, because what are you working so hard to retire and then you can't enjoy it? So it's like this weird, I find myself as I get older seeing more and more people and just instances where I'm like, I don't want that. Like, it gets so clear what your focuses are. And for me, I say it all the time, I'm very fortunate I found something that I want to do the rest of my life. And I think I probably will never retire in the traditional sense, because, I see people that have done what I'm doing and they're like 90 and they enjoy it. And they're like, oh yeah, I bought this building, we're going to do this and that. So it's, you kind of feel guilty to an extent, because I'm like I'm excited to go to work. Yes, it's a grind. It's tough. Some days I want to quit, but every day I get excited to go and try to take on something. You sound similar, CV. I'm sure to some extent you are similar. But I feel a little guilty because I'm like, and I know it's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to try to pave their own way or has the stubbornness, or, I don't think it's for everyone. But the fact that you're like excited, you feel a little guilty because like these people are miserable that I just talked to,
No, good point. I mean, for me, I see it all the time, but I got to be real with you. I don't see myself.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah, I guess devil's advocate. I love what I do. I'm extremely passionate about what I do. I'm all about, innovation, creating impact and opportunity for those that I service, right? Whether that's a college kid coming to my office and we're finding schools for them to apply to, or if it's 97-year-old that I'm just talking to, gaining some wisdom from, or a 3-year-old in a little basketball program, right? Like I love all of that. But one thing I can't stand in my industry is that people hold on to these jobs forever, right? So one thing that I am focused on is like when I lose that innovation, right, and my passion shifts to something else when it comes to later on down in my life, in my 60s, in my 70s. What?
Oh, that's a weird.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I'm not looking, can I make a couple $100,000 a year just consulting and doing that stuff in the same industry? Whereas now, yes, that sounds great, but I probably won't want to do that. Instead, on my way up to that, I am building, in my retirement accounts and, through real estate and stuff like that. Like I want to be in a position to retire from my industry, still have an income. But then if my passion is like, I want to be on the beach in Puerto Rico and be a lifeguard when I'm 70 years old, I might want to do that.
I think that's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
I think all that's fine. I think for me, I think I'd go crazy. But that's just my
I'd
personal
still work.
thing.
I'd still work, but I need a stream of income coming in. I mean, maybe I might open a cigar lounge when I'm 60 years old. I don't know. I mean, that could be something that happens earlier than that.
This is a little harsh to say, but I think there is the element of like the younger, not always necessarily younger, but once someone becomes a dinosaur in the industry, it's up to the young lions to eat them up. Like,
and
if no one's eating me up, like Brady. Like Brady can play as long as he wants till someone dethrones him.
Listen,
that's kind of fun though.
I love
like,
that.
Imagine being like, if I'm 90 and I'm going up against 20-year-olds, like, how's this guy still?
Yeah, but
I think that's hilarious.
That is. But even in education, see it all the time with teachers.
Yeah,
right. They're 75 years old and they're holding on, and it's like, dude, retire so somebody new and innovative can come take this job.
But I think it happens naturally because there's so many complaints, about certain. So it's very, and I'm in a weird situation where like it's not uncommon that I'm dealing with like people that are on their later years in life that are still selling real estate. Like, in my head, I'm like, why are you still doing this? So I don't know their finances, and they could be doing it just for fun. But I know, like, for me, I would like to be in the position where I can still do it, but I don't have to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
My thing is just about opportunity too. Like, I mean, CV and I see it all the time. You see old miserable people in the industry, and you're like, dude, like.
Well, it's not just an age thing too. Let's preface that.
It could be. It could be fault, just a miserable,
person.
But it could also come down to like a need. I mean, at the end of the day, we all have bills. We all have to do whatever.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times and especially where we live, the cost of living is fairly high. So you hold on to things, I think, just because you have to.
Which is why it's important now in your 30s and your 40s to make sure that you're setting yourself up for additional assets in that age, so you don't have to do that type of stuff. You know, like, yeah, it's always going to be a great salary. It's always going to be great. I mean, it is what it is. It's the job. But I don't think that I'm going to want to do this forever. When I'm eligible to retire, I'll probably do that and shift my energy with the same passion to something else.
Yeah.
You know?
It's hard to call this far in advance, but
Hey,
I was
listen,
thinking
man,
about that.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
I'm 40 years old right now, right, Mike?
40. Yeah.
So I'm only 20 years away.
We're looking into the
so much.
future.
Yeah. Oh man. Listen, we went
What a
all over the
tangent.
place,
Like,
right?
subscribe,
we
comment.
went from McDonald's to the Rollies to the donuts to the
Focus.
Focus. I mean, we just hammered this,
And the lack of there.
and the lack of lack
hard.
thereof,
It's hard.
right?
Yeah.
So this will bring us to my favorite section, Dave's Dime of the Week.
Dimes. I don't even know if I have a
Listen, you gotta
a mantra.
You got to wait a little longer because these dimes have been falling. I don't know if it's just more money in the bank for me, if that's what that means. Every time it just rings.
Not anymore.
Yeah. Mike, CV, I need more dimes.
I'm going to have rollies falling out of the sky.
Oh, man. Very simple. You get what you focus on, so focus on what you want. And that right there is an energy shift. That's all it is, right? If you focus your energy on negative stuff, you're going to reap those negative benefits. And it's not a benefit because if it's negative, that was a little, what is that called? The big shrimp? What's that called? Oxymoron. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm like big shrimp.
Yeah, the big shrimp.
That's a good nickname.
No,
too, big shrimp.
the big shrimp. You know what I mean? Like, focus on the things that you want in your life, because as I do that more. CV loves when I look into this camera. I can't stand looking directly into the camera.
I like it.
I really don't like
Can we
it.
put
But
Owen Wilson next to you?
but I
again
am
this week?
but I am talking to the masses here. If something is so small in your life and you just, want to lose an extra 5 pounds, or if something is massive and you want a big job opportunity, focus your energy there, because I'm telling you, if you take the actions and align yourself with that, you will make progress towards that goal. I've seen it with purchases in my life. I've seen it with getting jobs in my life. I've seen it with putting things out there to collaborate with brands, and then you take action and it happens, right? So focus on the things that you want. That's my little dime of the week.
Dimes. That was a post dime.
We'll
too.
do it again.
More dimes. Yeah.
More dimes.
Send more dimes.
Send more dimes.
So I don't have a mantra this week, but I've completely forgot about the mantra.
That's all right.
That's my focus, or lack thereof. So we'll do a Miguel's mantra.
Okay. Ding, 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 ding.
Well, I got to hold it because I'm dancing. I don't want to drop it.
It gives
Low.
feedback.
What was I was thinking about when you were talking.
Just do it.
And about, well, similar. Oh, shit. I'm blanking.
Just do it.
I had a good thought, but then the dimes threw me off.
Instead of the just do it though, so Drake, right? He's got this.
Yeah, that's
this
a good
lyric.
line.
He says Nike
Keep doing
doesn't
it.
pay me to just do it, but they pay me to keep on doing it and doing it again. Right?
Is
like,
that a song?
yeah, it is.
That's an LL Cool J song.
Is it? But it's something along those lines.
I
But
think
really,
it's under
the
different
thought
circumstances.
is like Drake is like, I mean, he's in the top of the world. He
He
can
just
retire.
keeps doing it.
But in that same song, he says, I'm trying to bury everybody else in the industry 20 feet under.
Mm.
Not taking your foot off of the gas.
Is that the lyric?
No.
What is that? I can't read
This is
that.
a past mantra from.
A mantra for you.
Wait, why don't we let CV? CV, what was
CV,
your?
you jump in.
Yeah, forget
I
the
blew-
mantra.
I just blew
You
it.
blew it.
Sorry, guys. I wasn't prepared for
Wait,
this.
what is your
wasn't
What was
prepared.
the intro again? Valenzuela's
Voice.
voice. Ooh,
It's pretty good. The voice of Valenzuela. Yeah, I've talked
Are
to
you
them.
ready
People are
for-
sick of me.
yeah.
Claudio's
No, Valenzuela's voice.
Claudio sentence. Life is short. Break the rules. Forgive quickly. Kiss slowly. Love truly. Laugh uncontrollably. And never regret anything that makes you smile. Mark Twain.
Wow.
Twain's a good boy.
That is. I love a little Twainy. Twain's a good boy.
Not related to Focus, but
No, that's beautiful.
That was good. I apologize for the thing. I had a thought in my head, and I was like, I'm going to BS this one to get through it, and I forgot.
Oh, wow. You know what we didn't touch on? I might, when this airs, be out of this freaking competition. But you got to be humble in defeat.
What do you
When
mean
you're
out? Do they cut it? In, what do they? Who makes it?
Yeah, I mean, it's only one person, and I'm in like 4th place or something like that.
What?
Yeah, it's wild.
I've been voting.
But
Have you been
listen,
voting?
what? By the time it comes out, it's already done. So I could be in, I could be out. It's all good,
Keep pushing it.
right? But until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it. I was banking on that 25K, though.
Yo, that's what I need that 25K to pay my watch.
I didn't even think about that. That's another Effie in the books. Go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at No Snooze Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze.